Hare Krishna, Ruchi Mataji. How are you, Ruchi Mataji?
Hare Krishna. This is Govardhan Leela. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. How are you, Govardhan Leela Mataji?
Well, I'm getting better. I just had a coming. I've been trying to fight a cold, and so I'm doing the best I can, and I try real hard because I'm very susceptible. So
Hmm.
Yeah, I also had the flu since the past 3 days. That's why I was not able to attend. I'm still feeling weak, but I'm better. The headache is less now.
yeah, I have what do you call it? I don't know if it was the flu or if it was a cold. Well, it was a cold. I started out with a cold, and now, I'm just chilled. I don't have the cold as much anymore, but I have to be very careful. I'm just,
I had a terrible headache, body ache, vomiting, all that I had, and I was really sick.
Oh, so sorry to hear that, Ruchi
sorry
Mataji.
about that. Yeah. So yeah, we have to just,
Mm.
yeah, winter is not my favorite time of year, so whatever. So I just have to accept. Okay. What verses do we have today? Seven?
7
Is
and
it?
8. Yeah.
Yeah, seven is the long one. That's why I only made it two verses.
Thank you, Mataji.
How are you doing, Leela Manjari Mataji?
I'm okay, Mataji. Thank you. I don't know. Um I feel cold in my house, but I don't want to increase the temperature because my husband says he'll get a migraine if the temperature is higher.
Oh, I'm dressed like I have a thermal a thermal shirt on, then a sweater and a jacket, and I have sweatpants on.
Mm.
That it's just I feel very chilled, very chilled.
Mm.
This kind of chill, this kind of dampness outside, it goes right through your body.
Mm. So, Ruchi Mataji, would you like to read since you are coming after a long time?
I still feel weak, but let me see. I can try and see. We are on what verse?
We are in Canto 3, Chapter 33, Text 7.
Chapter 33, text 7. Okay, I can read. Text 7. Let me know if it's the right one. It's activities of Kapil, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Aho bata swapako so gariyan yajyavagarevar sate nama tukyam te pustapas te juva shasmar aryus brahmanasu nama granati yete. We didn't do the prayers, so can anybody do the prayers first?
Yes, yes. Thank you for reminding us, Mataji. Om
Mhm.
Agyanandhasya Gyananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vanchakalpatarubhya Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Thank you, Ruchi Mataji, for the reminders.
Okay. Oh, how glorious are they whose tongue are chanting your holy name. Even if born in the families of dog eaters, such persons are worshipable. Persons who chant the holy name of your Lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities and fire sacrifices and achieved all the good manners of the Aryans. To be chanting the holy name of your Lordship, they must have bathed at holy places of pilgrimage, studied the Vedas, and fulfilled everything required for God. As it is stated in the previous verse, a person who has once offenselessly chanted the holy name of God becomes immediately eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices. One should not be astonished by this statement of Srimad Bhagavatam. One should not disbelieve or think, how by chanting the holy name of the Lord can one become a holy man to be compared to the most elevated Brahmana? To eradicate such doubts in the minds of unbelievers, this verse affirms that the stage of chanting of the holy name of the Lord is not sudden, but that the chanters have already performed all kinds of Vedic rituals and sacrifices. It is not
Oh, go away, dog. Go away.
It is not very astounding, for no one in this life can chant the holy name of the Lord unless he has passed all lower stages, such as performing the Vedic ritualistic sacrifices, studying the Vedas, and practicing good behavior like that of the Aryans. All this must first have been done, just as a student in a law class is to be understood to have already graduated from general education. Anyone who is engaged in the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, must have already passed all lower stages. It is said that those who simply chant the holy name with the tip of the tongue are glorious. One does not even have to chant the holy name and understand the whole procedure, namely the offensive stage, offenseless stage, and pure stage. If the holy name is sounded on the tip of the tongue, that is also sufficient. It is said herein that Nama, singular number, one name Krishna or Rama is sufficient. It is not that one has to chant all the holy names of the Lord. The holy names of the Lord are innumerable, and one does not have to chant all the names to prove that he has already undergone all the processes of Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. If one chants once only, it is to be understood that he has already passed all the examinations, not to speak of those who are chanting always 24 hours a day. It is specifically said here, Tubhyam, unto you only. One must chant God's name, not as the Mayavadi philosophers say any name such as demigod's name, as the Mayavadi philosophers say any name such as demigod's name, or the names of God's energies. Only the holy name of the Supreme Lord will be effective. Anyone who compares the holy name of the Supreme Lord to the names of the demigods is called a Sandhi or offender. The holy name has to be chanted to please the Supreme Lord and not for any sense gratification or professional purpose. Yeah, my head is hurting now. Can anybody else read, please?
I can read, Mataji, if you want.
Okay, please, thanks.
I can continue. The holy name has to be chanted to please the Supreme Lord and not for any sense gratification or professional purpose. If this pure mentality is there, then even though a person is born of a low family, such as a dog eater's, he is so glorious that not only has he purified himself, but he is quite competent to deliver others. He is competent to speak on the importance of the transcendental name. Just as Thakur Haridas did. He was apparently born in a family of Mohammedans, but because he was chanting the holy name of the Supreme Lord offenselessly, Lord Chaitanya empowered him to become the authority or acharya of spreading the name. It did not matter that he was born in a family which was not following the Vedic rules and regulations. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Advaita Prabhu accepted him as an authority because he was offenselessly chanting the name of the Lord. Authorities like Advaita Prabhu and Lord Chaitanya immediately accepted that he had already performed all kinds of austerities, studied the Vedas, and performed all sacrifices. That is automatically understood. There is a hereditary class of Brahmanas called the Smarta Brahmanas, however, who are of the opinion that even if such persons who are chanting the holy name of the Lord are accepted as purified, they still have to perform the Vedic rites or await their next birth in a family of Brahmanas so that they can perform the Vedic rituals. But actually, that is not the case. Such a man does not need to wait for the next birth to become purified. He is at once purified. It is understood that he has already performed all sorts of rites. It is the so-called Brahmanas who actually have to undergo different kinds of austerities before reaching that point of purification. There are many other Vedic performances which are not described here. All such Vedic rituals have been already performed by the chanters of the holy name. The word Juhuvu means that the chanters of the holy name have already performed all kinds of sacrifices. Sasnuhu means that they have already traveled to all the holy places of pilgrimage and taken part in purificatory activities at those places. They are called Arya, because they have already finished all these requirements, and therefore they must be among the Aryans, or those who have qualified themselves to become Aryans. Aryan refers to those who are civilized, whose manners are regulated according to the Vedic rituals. Any devotee who is chanting the holy name of the Lord is the best kind of Aryan. Unless one studies the Vedas, one cannot become an Aryan. But it is automatically understood that the chanters have already studied all the Vedic literature. The specific word used here is anuchuhu, which means that because they have already completed all those recommended acts, they have become qualified to be spiritual masters. The very word Rinanti, which is used in this verse, means to be already established in the perfectional stage of ritualistic performances. If one is seated on the bench of a high court and is giving judgment on cases, it means that he has already passed all legal exams and is better than those who are engaged in the study of law or those expecting to study law in the future. In a similar way, persons who are chanting the holy name are transcendental to those who are factually performing the Vedic rituals, and those who expect to be qualified, or in other words, those who are born in families of Brahmanas that have not yet undergone the reformatory processes and who therefore expect to study the Vedic rituals and perform the sacrifices in the future. There are many Vedic statements in different places saying that anyone who chants the holy name of the Lord becomes immediately freed from conditional life, and that anyone who hears the holy name of the Lord, even though born of a family of dog eaters, also becomes liberated from the clutches of material entanglement. Thank you.
Manasi Ganga Mataji, Hare Krishna. Happy birthday once again.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, would you like to read?
Um, I don't even know what the tune for this with that many words, that many syllables would be. What is the tune? Tam tvam aham brahma param. I don't know what.
Sounds about correct. You can just continue.
Okay. Tam tvam aham brahma param pamom sam pratyak srotasi atmani samvibhyavam svatijasa dvastaguna pravaham Vande Vishnum Kapilam Veda Garbhyam. Translation. I believe, my Lord, that you are Lord Vishnu himself, under the name of Kapila, and you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Brahman. The saints and sages, being freed from all the disturbances of the senses and mind, meditate upon you. For by your mercy only can one become free from the clutches of the three modes of material nature. At the time of dissolution, all the Vedas are sustained in you only. Purport. Devahuti, the mother of Kapila, instead of prolonging her prayers, summarized that Lord Kapila was none other than Vishnu, and that since she was a woman, it was not possible for her to worship him properly simply by prayer. It was her intention that the Lord be satisfied. The word pratyak is significant. In yogic practice, the 8 divisions are yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Pratyahara means to wind up the activities of the senses. The level of realization of the Supreme Lord, evidenced by Devahuti, is possible when one is able to withdraw the senses from material activities. When one is engaged in devotional service, there is no scope for his senses to be engaged otherwise. In such full Krishna consciousness, one can understand the Supreme Lord as he is.
If you care to, Mataji's, if you care to read a little more, it doesn't matter because I'll know where we ended and then I can start up again on Monday, wherever we left off. If you feel, Leela Manjri, that just what we did was enough for today, then I'll stop there.
Yes, we can maybe stop, Mataji, because I think the text 7 has a lot that can be discussed. It's very beautiful verse. Ruchi Mataji, would you like to share anything since you read?
Yes, I just like to say that this is really a nice, very nice purport, and it just confirms the fact that how many people say nothing happens by chance, and so like reaching to Krishna, who is like the supreme, one has to first undergo many rigors, one has to many lifetimes execute devotional service and become like spiritual in one way or the other. It does not matter which religion, but one has to, whatever religion they are in, they have to spiritually advance to be able to understand and take the name of take the holy name, because if one is not advanced enough, one may try to use it for material benefits or for elevation or for personal gains or for taking revenge or for some kind of a material end in need, and in that case it will only harm the person. So one has to reach a certain level of detachment from worldliness in order to be able to take the holy name offenselessly, like without offense. Sorry, there's no word like offenselessly, but yeah, without offense. So like many times, Jitendra Prabhu used to tell me that Prabhupada says that you don't know who will come, who will walk through these doors one day, because we see, like, we think that so many other temples are crowded. Why only Krishna's temple is not so crowded? Because it definitely takes a lot of um, spiritual advancement. Now I think it is true. Earlier I used to doubt it, but I think it's true mainly because we don't see with the naked eye what tests and rigors a person has to go through to obtain some kind of service in the temple. But now I feel that it is true that one has to undergo a lot of tap in order to get some service or to be able to even worship or take the name of the holy name or chant every day, because it destroys a multitude of sins of many lifetimes. And also, like, if one takes it carelessly or one uses it for material purpose, then it also has the potency to, like, lose it. The punyas of the person might get diminished too, because it it has so much of spiritual potency. That is what I wanted to, like, when spiritually I have become a little, not a little but a lot weak. I really can't chant. So but earlier I used to chant 16 rounds. So it's like also depends on state of spiritual potency one is at. So that is what I have to say.
Thank you for sharing, Ruchi Mataji.
Mm. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share.
It's always nice to
Now
hear Ruchi Mataji.
my only bone of contention is the, or let's say only thing left is the Bhagavatam class, which I try to attend. I was sick, otherwise I usually try to attend this. That's the only thing I do, or just worship Krishna in my mind. That's something that not that do every day, but I have a Laddu Gopal and I just try to worship him little bit every day. That's pretty much all. I really can't chant these days. So,
It's nice you're able to attend these classes. It's nice to hear from you, Mataji.
I'm sorry, Mataji, I was not able to hear. Why? What was it? You're only attending the class, but I did not hear as to the reason why you are not maybe chanting, maybe because you said your
yeah,
own.
I just feel it is my uh, uh, loss of spiritual practices, and yeah, I am not at the spiritual level I was before, and that's why I feel I try to, but I just don't have the. Sometimes my health is also not well, and sometimes it's more because I just don't have that spiritual potency in me to chant. Uh, just that conviction has gone away or something. Mm.
Yeah, so I don't know why this thing is telling me
It is
Zoom.
written in the Bhagavad Gita. It is written in the Bhagavad Gita that nobody can approach God without him wanting it first, or without him, like. So I have like, these days my spirituality is suffering a lot, and that's why I think I I, I have to become more, develop my faith again. I've lost a lot of faith somehow. So
But how
I
can
have
you be
to.
convinced that he's not sanctioning that you chant his name, though? Like, I believe all of us. I mean, I'll speak for myself. There are times when I feel very energized and enthusiastic and feel that Krishna's right at my side. And it's easy for me to think of him and to read and to do everything and to, to chant with feeling. And then there's times where it's not easy. But I think that the general mood is that we should continue on, because, you know, Krishna's not something cheap. He's, we have to put in effort, and whether or not we're getting the a taste, from it is irrelevant. We need to, I believe, we need to continue to push on, and life, from the material world, life is not easy, and you have to endeavor, and right, Krishna reciprocates, but he has to see the effort. And the effort could be during, walking through the desert, not feeling any of that sweetness, that rasa, or could be during times of, at whatever time, I don't know. My feeling is um, that his reciprocation is going to come. It's just not on our time. And I just feel that, we all go through these valleys, and then as we walk and endure then through these valleys, he's going to reciprocate. He's going to see, oh, she's really trying. That's my experience.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts. It's very encouraging. Yeah, it's just my health also doesn't seem that good, and also like I've lost that enthusiasm I had before somehow, and that the faith and everything. I mean, it's a lot of things. One requires a lot of I think good credits, pious credits to be able to chant his name. And once one is low on the pious credits, then I think the spiritual practices go down automatically.
I don't know. I don't know. I, but I know that if you put forth effort, he is a sweet Lord. He is one who loves us all, and no matter where we are on that karmic spectrum, I think that if we make effort, he will respond. That's just my belief. That's my belief, that, whether or not we're in, like you said, on, pious credits or whatever, I don't know. I think he's beyond that. You know, the pluses and the minuses. He's there just seeing where your heart is right now, and you're making an effort. And if you truly make an effort, he's going to reciprocate. He's sweet. He's so sweet.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. I will definitely try to keep it in mind and increase my efforts, you know, and he should help me with it. So, yeah.
You're welcome, Mataji.
Okay. Leela Mandri Mataji, did you want me to go through this next
Yes.
section? Okay, I'll just, this is very nice because, you know, Chandramali Maharaj always talks about the chanting of the holy names and the importance of chanting. And if we chant to please the Lord and not, you know, please give me, you know, this great job, or please, you know, get me ahead in this or that, or make this person like me, or whatever. If we chant not for sense gratification at any time, then we're chanting to please the Lord. If we're chanting with, of course, attention and all of that. So even if we come from the lowest of the lowest, as it points out here, a dog eater family, you could be born in any kind of family. You don't have to be born in India or come be in the Brahmana caste, or no. If you are chanting the holy names in this pure, offenseless state, you purify yourself, and then you become competent enough to purify others, or to help them become delivered. Okay, and Srila Prabhupada here discusses Haridas Thakur, who was born in a Muslim family, but he was chanting the holy name of the Lord without offense, and Lord Chaitanya empowered him to become the authority, or the acharya, to spread the holy name. So it didn't matter that what kind of family he was in, nor that his family was not following the Vedic rules and regulations. Okay. And it was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Advaita Prabhu who accepted him as an authority because he was chanting the holy name offenselessly. And they accepted, you know, because of this fact that he was chanting the holy name offenselessly, he automatically became qualified. In other words, he didn't have to perform all kinds of austerities, and what we know he did anyway, but he didn't have to have studied all of the Vedas. It was understood that he automatically had studied, and he had performed all these austerities. So now there are some brahmanas, they're called, now it's named here, it's a hereditary class of brahmanas. They're called the Smarta Brahmanas. They believe that if people are chanting the holy name of the Lord, and if they're accepted as purified, they're still going to have to perform those Vedic rites, or await another, they're going to have to take another birth in a family of brahmanas so that they can perform those Vedic rituals. But we understand in our spiritual practice that this is not really the case. Okay, we don't need to wait for our next birth to become purified. We can become purified at once. Okay. Now the so-called brahmanas actually have to undergo all different kinds of austerities before reaching that point of purification. So there are many different types of rituals and performances that aren't described here, and they've already been performed by the chanters of the holy name, because the holy name has everything in it. It includes everything. It's pure. It has, there's no, there's not a tinge of materialism in it. Okay, it's pure. It's coming from the spiritual world. And now it says here that the word Jehovah means that the chanters of the holy name have already performed all kinds of sacrifices. Sasnu means they have already traveled to all the places of pilgrimage and taken part in purificatory activities. So they are considered Aryans, and that's a term that, of course, has been very misused. The Aryans are actually those who are qualified they're civilized. They have whose manners are regulated according to Vedic rituals. So if we are chanting the holy name, all of us, then we are considered the best kind of Aryan. Aryan was the term was changed during over the decades and maybe over the years, and it became a racial term when the Nazis came into power. They took the term and said that they were the true Aryan race, but they looked at it as a racial term, that they were pure. Their race or their blood was pure. It was not tinged with any other race. Okay, but that's not what it means here. It originally meant that if we're chanting the holy name of the Lord, we are Aryans. And if we're chanting offenselessly, okay, we can't become an Aryan unless we study the Vedas, but if it's understood that the chanters have already studied all the Vedic literature, then the chanters are Aryan. And that they're qualified to be spiritual masters. Well, yeah. The word Grinanti means already established in the perfectional stage of ritualistic performances. I mean, we've seen examples of this. Prabhupada uses this. There's a judge, you know, if he's sitting in the high court and he's judging the case, it's already understood that he's studied, that he's passed all the exams, etc. And similarly, you know, he makes that analogy that those who are chanting the holy name are transcendental to those who are factually performing the rituals and who expect to be qualified. Okay, and was it this morning that Guru had said that? I don't know if Narada Muni in his, don't quote me on this. I thought Narada Muni, before he became who we know him as in a previous life, wasn't it that he had not become completely purified or something, because he, and I got confused there. I thought he felt that he was qualified, but wasn't it Guru who said to us that, you know, he was told you're becoming too proud? Maybe it was another Acharya. I can't remember who it was now. And so he had to take another birth. No, yeah, he had to take another birth to, you know, not be so proud. It probably wasn't Narada Muni, but I probably made a mistake here. The person, one of the Acharyas, don't remember his name. But anyway, so anyone, I don't care where you come from, who you chants the holy name of the Lord becomes immediately freed from conditional life. And anyone who hears the holy name, even though born of a family of dog eaters, also becomes liberated. So, you know, my little dog here, she hears the holy name constantly. If only she hears it properly, she can go home back to Godhead. It's very possible. So maybe Manasi Ganga can clarify which acharya that was that Guru Maharaj was talking about. That is
So I've attended the other classes. It was just this morning with that email that kind of, like many others, like Sri Devi and others of us who read the email, it had said that only we were only going to have one class, not two. So I thought that really early morning class was the one that he was making reference to. So I only caught the back end of the Narada Muni, but I have attended all the other ones, you know, and have not heard that from Guru that any of the other acharyas in the last 3 or 4 days that he's been speaking, not any of them that he was speaking of were needed to take another birth. So I'm not going to say that it is Narada Muni because I didn't catch the first half of the class until I got your nice text that he was doing a second class. But
that's fine. Maybe Leela Manjari Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you, Manasi Ganga Mataji. But maybe Leela Manjari Mataji knows that. I'm almost sure he did. He just wasn't completely purified in the first life, and
I know at one point he did speak about his different personalities, you know. I caught a back end of that. So I have a funny feeling that maybe it is Narada Muni, but don't take me for, you know, that's something that
Sure.
we'll need to look up if we're interested. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Leela Manjari knows for sure.
I did not attend the class, but in the case of Narad Muni, he was born as a son of a maid servant, and his mother did not even know like who was his father. And but he and his mother had the good fortune of serving many
Yeah, I remember this.
brothers who came to reside at the inn that they were serving in.
Mm-hmm.
So as they were traveling through the rainy season, they came and resided there for the entire span of the rainy season. And Narada Muni, as a young boy, um, he he would serve them.
To Prashadam, yeah.
Yeah, and he took the remnants of prashadam from their plates. And he was very obedient. He was not playful. He was always listening to their talks. And before they left, they actually imparted some instructions to Narada, which he very carefully followed. As soon as the Bhaktivedantas left, the his mother also passed away very soon after that. So
Yeah.
he left home and he started walking through the forests and um, following all the instructions that they had given, and he was chanting the holy name of the Lord. So one day, as he was performing his spiritual duties and activities, he actually heard the Lord speak, and I think he even saw the Lord in front of him. I don't remember exactly. I think he heard the Lord speaking, and he was so enchanted and mesmerized, like he wanted to see him again. He wanted to have darshan of him again. So the Lord spoke to him and he said, please don't get discouraged. You're not completely purified, but I showed myself to you because you're very sincere. So I showed myself to you. But now just continue doing what you're doing for the rest of your life. And when you when like only when a devotee is completely purified, I show myself. But in your case, it was an exception to encourage you.
Mm.
So that was the story. And in the next lifetime, he was born as the son of Lord Brahma. The son of the maidservant was born as son of Lord Brahma, and he had a spiritual body as Narad Muni. So that's the story
Oh,
of Narad Muni.
Thank you for
yeah,
sharing
it
the
must have
story.
been something else. Thank you very much, Lena Mandri. Yeah, he was saying exactly that. I was doing something and I heard parts of it, and then, my mind was somewhere else and I lost half of that. But yes, he did say exactly that. Yes, thank you.
Actually, if anybody else wants to speak about this verse, or I can also share something. Actually, this verse, and there are many, many verses in Srimad Bhagavatam, which actually speak about the glories of the holy name. So, to perform any other kind of Vedic sacrifice, to worship the deities, to chant Gayatri mantras, one has to qualify themselves before they can do any of those activities. But to chant the holy name of the Lord, there are no prior requirements. Even a child can chant. Srila Prabhupada sometimes says even dogs chant. So this, and even animals chanted during the time of Mahaprabhu um, going across the forest of Jharkhand.
Mm-hmm.
So to chant the holy name of the Lord, one just needs a tongue and he needs an ear to hear the holy name of the Lord. There are no other qualifications that are required. And so that is the most accessible form of Krishna for a conditioned soul. And um, the greatness of the holy name is that um, Krishna and his holy name are completely non-different. That is the absolute nature of Krishna and his holy name. They are completely identical. So as soon as one chants one name of Krishna, Prabhupada writes in the purport, he says, offenselessly chants one name of Krishna. It's not even the entire Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one name of Krishna. Then he is considered more elevated than the most elevated Brahmanas. So that is the potency of the holy name, that it can immediately transform a person's consciousness if it is done offenselessly. So the holy name is so powerful because it has all the potencies of Krishna, and we know that Krishna's potencies are unlimited. And but actually it's if we think about it, like, how merciful is Krishna, because as soon as we say the name Krishna, we have access to him. It's not anything difficult. He made it so simple. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave us the chanting of the holy name and he made it so accessible. And the chanting of the holy name is not dependent on any previous karma. Actually, bhakti is transcendental. So, this is an argument that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur discusses in Madhurya Kadambini. It's a book written by him, and he says, what is the cause of bhakti? Is bhakti caused by good karma, past good karma of a person? And he refutes it by saying, no, actually, bhakti is not caused by past karma of a person. Even though he may be extremely pious, it's not necessary that the person takes to bhakti, because karma is material and bhakti is completely transcendental. So, bhakti cannot be created by something material because bhakti is spiritual. Something material cannot create bhakti. So, that is the argument he gives. So, how does bhakti come into someone's life? And he answers it by saying, does it come because of Krishna? Is the Lord who is giving us bhakti for him? And then he says, no, actually, it is not Krishna who gives us bhakti, because Krishna is impartial. So if he gives bhakti to some people and he does not award bhakti to some others, then he would be considered partial. So Krishna is also not giving his bhakti. So what is causing bhakti? And then he concludes, actually bhakti comes into the life of someone because of a bhakta. So it is actually the duty of the devotees of the Lord to give bhakti to others. Only they can give bhakti to others, because Krishna gives his power of attorney to his devotees. He tells his devotee, you can give me to whoever you like. So if one is experiencing any bhakti or presence of loving feelings for Krishna in their life, we know for a fact that it is because of a bhakta, a devotee of the Lord, who actually came into our life and they gave us a little spark of attraction for Krishna. So even Krishna does not give bhakti. What to speak of past karma, which is completely material and it cannot give bhakti. So only by the association of devotees of the Lord, one experiences Krishna in their life. So similarly, when we are chanting the holy name of the Lord, attraction for chanting of the holy name comes when we associate with devotees of the Lord. And we can associate with devotees of the Lord through many ways. We can read Prabhupada's books and we get direct association of Prabhupada. We can listen to those devotees who are speaking about the glories of the holy name, or we can sit and chant with the devotee of the Lord. So through all of these things, our aspiration to want to chant increases. And in fact, the devotee can also tell us how to chant the holy name of the Lord. But the most beautiful part is that even if we lose taste for chanting the holy name of the Lord, Krishna never denies us. As Manasi Ganga Mataji was saying, Krishna is such a loving father, he will accept us in any condition of life. So there is a example that is given in Ramayana, where Lord Ramachandra actually he accepts the brother of Ravana, because Ravana was actually he had kidnapped Sita, and Ravana had a brother Vibhishan. And when Vibhishan comes to Lord Ramachandra, all of the associates of Lord Ramachandra, they say, don't accept Vibhishan because he's coming from the enemy's camp. Don't accept him. But Lord Ramachandra, he and Hanuman are the only ones who say, no, he should be accepted. And at that time, Lord Ramachandra says, even if Ravana comes to me, I will accept him. Although he has committed such a great offense of kidnapping Mother Sita, even if Ravana comes to me at this moment, I will accept him. So that is the loving nature of the Lord. We don't have to wait or do some amazing, attractive features or perform past karmic activities to attract the attention of the Lord. He is so kind. Even if we have offended him thousands and thousands of times, if we sincerely turn to him once and we say, my dear Krishna, from today onwards, I'm yours. And he is willing to give protection to such a devotee. And what to speak of chanting the holy name of the Lord? It is said in Shastra that the Lord feels obligated to a person who has chanted his holy name. He feels that, okay, this person has called my holy name, I must give him protection. So, this is the relationship between Krishna and his devotee and anyone who chants the holy name. In fact, one need not chant the holy name with devotion. Even if it is chanted um, in a mocking way, even if it is chanted in a derogatory fashion, still such a chanter achieves liberation. What to speak of a devotee who is trying to chant without offenses? So today is Friday, we may not have much time, but we still have like 1 or 2 minutes if someone wants to say something.
I just wanted to say that I have heard that that hearing Leela's, hearing just about the Lord actually fuels our chanting as well. So my understanding is if you're feeling low on your chanting, you need to read some more. You need to maybe read some Leelas. You need to and that, so that will help, your chanting push forward while you're feeling that your chanting is not where it should be.